Welcome to latest News Blaster. The atmosphere inside the packed venue was electric. Supporters had gathered with anticipation, expecting one of Donald Trump's trademark speeches filled with fiery commentary, political promises, and his familiar mix of humor and provocation. But as the former president leaned into the microphone and paused for effect, no one in the room could have predicted the revelation that was about to leave them gasping. Trump's words landed like a thunderclap: Charlie Kirk's murder. It was not random. It was years in the making. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The statement, simple yet devastating, sent shockwaves not only across the venue but also through millions watching online. Was Trump implying that Kirk, the young conservative activist who had become a household name for his firebrand speeches and controversial takes, had been the target of a long-running plot? For months, theories had swirled around the tragic end of Charlie Kirk. Some insisted it was nothing more than a senseless crime. Others, however, whispered that powerful hands had been pulling strings behind the scenes. Now, with Trump lending his voice to the speculation, the whispers turned into deafening shouts. A nation caught off guard. Charlie Kirk wasn't just another conservative figure. As the founder of Turning Point USA, he had built an empire of influence, rallying thousands of college students and young voters under his movement. Whether admired or criticized, his impact was undeniable. That's why his sudden death left the nation stunned. Initially, official reports painted the picture of a straightforward murder case. Tragic, but not unusual in a country wrestling with rising crime rates. Yet inconsistencies quickly surfaced. Witnesses disagreed about what they saw. The timeline seemed blurred. And now, Trump's declaration added fuel to the growing suspicion that Kirk's murder wasn't spontaneous at all. The crowd's reaction spoke volumes. Some shouted in shock, others clapped nervously, while many just stood frozen, waiting for Trump to elaborate. He leaned back slightly, scanning the audience, his expression carrying the weight of someone who knew more than he was willing to reveal in that moment. The question on everyone's mind: why would Trump say this, and why now? For years, Trump and Charlie Kirk shared a close political alliance. Kirk had been one of the most vocal supporters of Trump's presidency, often defending him against critics and using his platform to amplify pro-Trump narratives. The two men had been photographed together countless times, their bond symbolizing a merging of the older conservative establishment with the younger social media-driven movement. So when Trump uttered those chilling words, it wasn't just speculation from a distant observer. It felt like an insider lifting the veil. The implication was clear: someone, somewhere, had been plotting Kirk's demise long before it actually happened. Layers of suspicion. Almost instantly, social media lit up. Clips of Trump's remarks were replayed on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, each one sparking heated debates. Some commentators accused Trump of recklessly spreading conspiracy theories, while others insisted that if anyone knew the hidden truth, it would be Trump himself. Political analysts dissected the comment in real time. Was Trump hinting at a larger plot involving enemies within the political arena? Was he pointing toward shadowy figures threatened by Kirk's rising influence? Or was this Trump's way of keeping his audience hooked by dangling a sensational claim without giving all the details? Regardless of motive, one thing was certain: Trump's revelation reignited the conversation around Kirk's murder like never before. A closer look at Charlie Kirk's rise. To understand why someone might allegedly plan Kirk's downfall, one must revisit his journey. Born in 1993, Kirk rose quickly through conservative circles, founding Turning Point USA in his late teens. The organization became a powerhouse, shaping political discourse on campuses and online. Kirk was outspoken, often polarizing. He confronted issues like immigration, election integrity, and cultural debates with a boldness that made him a hero to many and a target to others. His rapid ascent brought both admiration and intense criticism, cementing his place as a lightning rod in American politics. By his late 20s, Kirk wasn't just a commentator. He was a brand, a symbol of conservative youth activism. And with that prominence came enemies. Years in the making? Trump's choice of words was telling. Years in the making. If true, that suggests Kirk's death wasn't born from a single moment of rage or random violence. Instead, it points to long-term resentment, meticulous planning, and perhaps even coordination among individuals or groups who saw Kirk as a threat. Imagine the patience and determination required to allegedly plot against someone for years. This was not about silencing a minor critic. If Trump's words hold weight, this was about eliminating a figure whose voice could alter the political landscape for decades to come. The statement left Americans asking, who stood to gain the most from Kirk's silence? The crowd reacts. Inside the venue, emotions ran high. Supporters who came for a routine Trump rally were now participants in a moment that felt historic. Journalists scrambled to capture every word, every facial expression. Some audience members burst into chants of "Tell us more." Others shouted Kirk's name, treating the late activist like a martyr. The scene was a mix of mourning, outrage, and curiosity, a blend that perfectly suited Trump's ability to stir raw emotion. Even as chants grew louder, Trump refrained from providing specifics. He let the gravity of his statement linger, knowing it would dominate headlines regardless of whether he expanded further. Social media frenzy. Within minutes, hashtags like #CharlieKirkTruth and a Trump reveals trended globally. Influencers posted videos analyzing the clip frame by frame, speculating about Trump's tone, his body language, and the timing of the revelation. Conservative voices claimed this was evidence that the establishment feared Kirk's power. Liberal commentators mocked the claim as another baseless conspiracy. And yet, even among skeptics, there was acknowledgement. Trump's words had struck a nerve. Podcasts, YouTube channels, and late-night talk shows jumped on the story. Analysts agreed on one point: Trump had successfully shifted the national conversation. If this were delivered as a YouTube narration, this is the moment to remind viewers. What do you think about Trump's shocking claim? Was Charlie Kirk really the victim of a long-planned plot? Or is this just political theater? Comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more breaking updates. Trump's comments, whether intentional or spontaneous, sparked renewed interest in the case. Independent journalists began retracing the timeline of Kirk's final days. Former colleagues and friends were interviewed again, their testimony scrutinized for overlooked clues. Political opponents, on the other hand, accused Trump of exploiting Kirk's death for attention. Yet even they couldn't ignore the fact that millions were now asking uncomfortable questions. Why did Trump speak out now, months after Kirk's passing? Was he holding back information until the perfect moment? Or was he subtly warning his audience about the dangers lurking in the background of modern politics? Whatever the motive, the story was no longer about a single tragedy. It was about the possibility of a larger plot, one that stretched back years. MP's startling claim didn't just echo through the rally venue. It spilled out into homes, newsrooms, and political circles across America. It wasn't the first time the former president had delivered an unexpected bombshell, but this one felt different. This wasn't about policy, election results, or his own personal battles. This was about Charlie Kirk, a man many believed represented the next generation of conservative leadership. And when Trump suggested Kirk's murder was years in the making, the story took on a chilling new dimension. The mystery deepens. The official story surrounding Kirk's murder was thin from the start. Authorities reported a late-night altercation that spiraled out of control, leading to his tragic death. But something about that version of events never quite sat right. Witness accounts didn't line up. Some claimed they saw multiple individuals fleeing the scene, while others insisted only one attacker was involved. Surveillance footage was blurry at best, raising more questions than answers. Then came reports of threats Kirk had allegedly received in the weeks before his death. Some dismissed them as the usual backlash that came with being such a polarizing figure. But with Trump's explosive